All right. Welcome back, folks, to the FF Faceoff. And much like we've done for the previous 2 weeks, this week we are coming at you with our AFC NFC Championship prediction show. Should be a good time. So there you go. I'll tell everybody, go to fffaceoff.com for all of your fantasy football, NFL sports betting needs. Yes, we are doing prop bets for these games. We are also doing some dynasty content on there as well. So check all that out. Also on the YouTube, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon. Be notified every single time we go live because we're going all year round. Fun don't stop here. There is no off season. So there you go. I'll just quickly go around the room. We got myself, Michael Hoff, can be followed at the FF Realist on X. We got Anthony Servino, can be followed the Real NFL Guru. Matt at the FF Mediators. Mr. Pete Nova at Supernova38. That's 2 R's, of course. Steve D'Angelo, be followed at Fantasy Savvy. And then Tyler, of course, at TFarmer_34. So there you go. I went around the room. We're all good. How's it going, everybody? Everybody good?
Yeah.
Good.
Doing great.
Great. Love the energy in this room.
Super.
Well, we're almost at the Super Bowl. Yeah. So we'll just quickly bring up our playoff prediction standings right now. Pete is out in front there, 9-1. Steve and Matt, 7-3. Me and Coach are at 6-4. And Tyler, 5-5, and Anthony come up the rear, 4-6. But in Anthony's defense, Anthony did tell me that he would be in last place.
Yes.
He did say that. So if anything, he was right with that prediction. So maybe you get an extra win.
That's okay. We sold those picks for 5,000 a piece, so he made out regardless.
Yeah.
All right. So if we're just we'll just really quickly just recap on the divisional round there. Well, we all picked against Texans again, and this time it worked out. Kansas City wins 23-14. There was also, we'll get to the big shocker last, but the Rams and the Eagles, that was the Eagles winning 28-22. And then the Baltimore Ravens and the Buffalo Bills, that was a bit surprising for myself, Anthony. One of us, Tyler, did you pick the Ravens too? I believe you did, right?
Yep.
Yeah. That was another surprise. We'll go over that. We'll go over all of it with the AFC Championship. But yeah, Buffalo squeezes that one out, 27-25. Last but not least, the Washington Commanders shocked the world with a 45-31 win against the Detroit Lions. Pete, you got anything?
Yeah, I do. Give me 1 second here. Hold on.
Awkward silence.
All right.
Awkward sounds. Oh, there I am.
All right, here we go.
I like the Lions in this game.
For them to win this game, it'd be, for me, I think it would be a gigantic upset.
The Washington story's been fun. They got their first playoff win. It's going to be right around like a 10, 13-point victory for the Lions.
I would pick them to cover, but I don't think I'd pick them to win. Yeah, I'm going to roll with my Commanders here.
So I'm going to take the Commanders in this one.
Washington's on fire. They've won 6 straight games.
The Commanders' defense can play average. I think they have a really good shot.
Saying that this team,
And Anthony's rolling his eyes, but like, name a good team on their schedule that they beat.
but you could go through every team. Like,
No, I know, but you're sitting here saying because they beat the Vikings, that changed your mind. We just saw the Vikings get dog walked by the fucking Rams. Like, I mean, are the Vikings that good? Like, no, I'm not saying that the Lions are that good. That's not what I'm saying. But they don't.
Let the guy finish his point. Yeah, Jesus.
This whole division played a shit schedule.
The line of scrimmage to me is the most important part of this
Some of these bad that Detroit played, they kicked the shit out of him.
Jaden Daniels looks as composed as anybody can be. The rookie has been stone cold in the pocket the entire time. I mean, last week they didn't even punt.
I don't understand why are we trying to discount the Lions based on schedule? I mean, it doesn't make
Nobody's
any sense.
discounting the Lions.
You
What I'm
are.
saying
You're
is that
discounting.
Anthony's saying that they're going to basically beat the brakes off.
That offensive line, there's not a sexy pick on there. It's just a bunch of beefcakes, dude. Like, they get after it. Like, they're not great, but, man, will they hit you in the mouth. Keep it a game. And if they keep it a game, I think that's something that they can accomplish. They can win it. I mean, they've played a ton of close games this season. I joked with you guys about them being a team of destiny, but I believe it. I believe that this team truly thinks that they can win this game.
And there you
All
have
right. Yeah, that's what Pete was working on all day today. Anthony,
Any
Your
thoughts?
you're on mute.
Sorry.
So I liked everything but the music.
Oh,
my
God.
Yeah, that was good, Pete. That was a great call by you and Matt. Obviously, that was better than the Dante Foreman, Dalvin Cook rant that you went on.
That is true. I was going to make a Bills one, but I think we'll save that in case, they win this week as well. Then maybe we'll have to do one for that one too.
Yeah,
All right.
we gotta we gotta keep doing those. Those are good.
All right. So with that being said and out of the way, and good job, Pete. We'll start off. Even though Anthony requested last week that I go in the reverse order of the games, I'm still gonna go in the order that they're being played. So yeah, let's go with the first game. It's at 3:00. It is the Commanders at the Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia is favored by 6 points. The over-under is 47.5. That's as per DraftKings. Actually, both games are 47.5 over-under. You know what? I'll kick this over to... No, let's not kick it over to Matt first. We know what Matt's going to fucking do. Let's kick this one over to Tyler. Tyler, you go first, Tyler. Talk about who you think can win this week and why in the NFC Championship.
So I'm gonna maybe shock a few people here. I'm actually gonna pick Washington to win this one. I know they could easily cover with the 6.5 point spread that I have. That's through BetMGM, I think. But I'm gonna pick them to win outright. They won their last game versus the Eagles, 36-33, and like Matt's, jokingly said, this team is a team of destiny. It seems. They've played a ton of close games, and coming off of a pretty massive victory against the Lions, I think they'll carry that momentum through.
There you go. Just so everybody knows, Eric is the famous Eric from the shower. He's an Eagles fan, so
He's going to love what I have to say.
Yeah, he's not going to like
right.
that shit at all. That's going to be a problem. I'll just jump in quick, and then I'll go to Steve. Then we'll go Pete, Anthony, Matt. We'll save you for last. I am going to take the Eagles in this one. I do think the Commanders cover. I buy into this whole team of destiny to an extent. I think that magic carpet ride comes to an end here in the NFC Championship. And to me, it's all about, listen, I know the Commanders put up a ton of points last week. They put up a lot of yards, but they played the Lions, who allowed 350 yards on a per-game basis. Now they're going to go up against the Eagles, who are allowing the fewest. So I also think the running game, believe the Commanders are top 5 in rushing yards allowed on the season to running back. So I think this is a Saquon Barkley game. I think this is what's become typical. We'll see Jalen Hurts throw for under 200 yards probably. But, yeah, I think the Eagles squeak this one out. If there's anything to worry about with the Eagles, it's Jake Elliott kicking the ball. but I think the Eagles win this one. Steve, what says you?
Yeah, when this spread first came out, I thought it'd be like 6-7. Eagles
Yeah,
being
you guessed
favored.
6, I think, in the chat.
But I think it in some books, I think it started, or maybe it started up, I think like 4.5. Yeah, DraftKings had it on Monday at 4.5, and now it's pretty much 6.5 everywhere you look. So and what I'm thinking is my initial reaction to the spread was wrong, because I think Vegas is thinking about Jalen Hurts the way he's been playing. And I think they almost think like Jaden Daniels is a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts right now. So, I think that's factored in with the 4.5. I also think you could give the coaching edge to Dan Quinn. So I like the fact that Brian Robinson got it going last week, 2 touchdowns. So 6.5, maybe this goes up to 7. Maybe I could buy it to 7. Yeah, I'm going to take Washington on the spread. The question is, who am I taking to win the game? Last week I took the Rams. I was trying to be a little bit bold. Kind of thought, it'd be a tough task. They came damn close to doing it. Obviously, it was very, very close.
I think it was only me and Pete who picked the Eagles last week, I believe.
Yeah. It was close. But Philly, they haven't looked that great. I mean, they beat Green Bay. Jordan Love didn't play that well. He was banged up. Okay, their defense is solid. Their pass rush was ridiculous.
Right.
That's going to be a problem. But we did see Daniels, beat them earlier in the season and put up a pretty damn nice game. Hurts went down in that game. We saw Kenny Pickett, but Jaden Daniels was still doing work. 258 yards through the air, 5 touchdowns, did throw 2 picks, but also ran for another 80 yards. Terry McLaurin, after the first matchup, when they played earlier in the season, Daniels was not healthy in that game. He was, he got hurt in that Panthers game with the rib injury, and then because it wasn't really right for a month after that. And then once he got right again, you kind of saw that in the second matchup. McLaurin had 60 yards and a touchdown. Zacchaeus stepped up 72. And now you're seeing Diami Brown finally coming to fruition. So Zach Ertz, Brian Robinson, Dan Quinn on the defensive end. The defense obviously definitely has some holes. The Lions still had 500 total yards, but they did turn over Goff. They made the plays they needed to make. So can they do that to Hurts? Can they slow down this Eagles offense? Can they slow down Saquon Barkley is the big question. 150 yards in that last matchup, 2 touchdowns on 29 carries. A.J. Brown had 8 catches for 97 yards and a touchdown. He's not looked right. There's something going on with his knee. Maybe he's a little bit healthier this week. Who knows? But yeah, you know what, man? I'm going to take the Commanders. I'm going to try to be bold.
All right.
Again, I got to go with another bold pick. So I'm going to go with the Commanders for the outright win.
I am going to, and that's okay. So we'll keep going that route. I'm actually, Pete, I'm going to go to Anthony first, only because we do have a super chat, and it's directed at Anthony. And Anthony, our resident troll ATL, wants to troll you and wants to know, is Anthony going to trash Washington again? Anthony?
No, I'm not going to trash Washington. Washington, obviously, they're here for a reason. I think Jalen Daniels is playing the best quarterback out of the remaining 4. Let's put that out there. Number 1, he's the best quarterback of the 4 remaining. My concern is the other weapons outside of McLaurin, Eckler, or and that's been my biggest concern is all of these other secondary weapons, Diami Brown, Zacchaeus. Is there enough here for them to go beat Philly in Philly? Yes, Washington won the last one. Jalen Hurts played, a couple of plays? Do I think Washington can win? I that's my biggest tear here. Washington, I certainly think covers a spread. Like Steve, I would buy it up to 7 points. But when it's all said and done, I think Philly wins this game. And there's an injury that sways me, and it's not Jalen Hurts. It's Sam Cosmi. That torn ACL, I think that really sets back this Washington offense and offensive line. Jalen Carter, I think he's going to, that's where he really lines up, and he's going to be a disruptive force. The last time these two teams played in Philly, Philly's defense was outstanding. That was, I believe, the first time these two teams played. They held Daniels to 18 yards rushing. The leading receiver was Eckler, 8 for 89. But when it comes to guys like McLaurin, he caught 1 of 2 targets for 10 yards. Zacchaeus, 1 for 10. So I'm really banking on Philadelphia's defense stepping up and shutting down this Washington offense. So I think they cover. I think Philly wins, and I would take the under. I don't see a lot of points scored in this game.
I do like the under as well. All right. So me and Anthony are in lockstep, ready to hop off the cliff together. Pete, what says you, buddy? And then Matt, we will save the best if you live in Washington for less.
Yeah, so I'm with Anthony and you as well. I actually agree with Anthony's picks in terms of spread, money line, and the over/under total here. I think Anthony said it right. The offensive line, Jaden Daniels a couple weeks back took 8 sacks against the Saints. This Lions defensive line doesn't bring a lot of pressure. We know that this defense in general was decimated, right? Which is why generally I thought they had a chance to win last week. I think Jaden Daniels is playing great. I think Washington's going to give them a tough game. I think that's why I think they cover. It is ironic though. We talk about this Philly team like we talk about the Chiefs, right? The Chiefs don't win sexy, but they win games, right? Like that's just what they do, right? The Eagles, outside of the last game that they lost to Washington where Hurts got hurt, they haven't lost a game since September. Like all they do is win games, even if it's been ugly. They've played good teams. They beat Baltimore. Like they've played against really good teams. They've played tough, and it concerns me. Vic Fangio against a rookie quarterback, seeing him for the third time in a season at home. There's something to be said about that. And yeah, I mean, I think my biggest fear is how limited is Hurts with his knee. I think that's the biggest concern for Philly. And I think can this offensive line keep Jaden clean? Because to Anthony's point, losing their best offensive lineman last week, not ideal against a pass rush and just a front seven that is playing out of their mind right now. Braun, their linebacker, could have easily have been defensive player of the year if he had more name recognition this year. Jalen Carter is playing arguably at defensive player of the year caliber in the interior. And I think Saquon it looks awesome. So yeah, I just think it's going to be a tall task. I think Washington's going to play them tough. Would I be surprised if Washington wins this game? Absolutely not. But I just think it's just kind of like Kansas City. Like the difference is that this team is more talented than Kansas City, right? But they just don't have the quarterback. This is probably the worst quarterback of the 4. And it's not a shot at Hurts. He's just not playing well. The chance I will give them is if Washington can get the ball first and they can go score and maybe get a 3 and out and score points again and force them to play from behind, then Washington has to start out hot on offense. They cannot go 3 and out. They have to get points. And Philly needs to stop kicking field goals. They've had issues too scoring. They can't settle for 3. So
I'm worried about Jake Elliott too. Who's
he's looked bad. So yeah. I'm going to take the Eagles, but I'll take Commanders to cover, and I'll take the under.
All right, Matt, darling, the floor is yours. Then we'll argue a bit, and then we'll get on to the AFC Championship.
Yeah, Washington's done a really good job of staying ahead of the chains. You guys hit a lot of the points that I would talk about, and I'll start with Anthony's talking about Sam Cosmi. Him tearing his ACL is huge. He's Washington's best offensive lineman by far. Now, that being said, Trent Scott's going to replace him. He's got some snaps this year. Actually caught Jaden Daniels' first touchdown of the year, if you remember that. But, he's a veteran, so we'll see what he does. He's got a tough matchup with that Eagles defensive line. But what we do know is Jaden Daniels has played fantastic against the blitz. I think a 90.1 QBR against the blitz or something insane. So as long as he stays composed in the pocket and gets the ball out of his hands, which he's done all season, then I think Washington can stay ahead of the chains and just business as usual. The defense for me is going to be the question because we all know Washington's DBs are not the best. I'm the first to admit there's not a lot of talent on the back end for Washington. But at the same time, Jalen Hurts has struggled all season. He really has not thrown the ball well, especially here recently. I mentioned last week how he didn't have a game over 200 passing yards and in some time, and that continues. So Washington is going to have to slow down those big receivers because they're the two they've played so far, arguably. But it's kind of at a good time. Hurts is hurt, so we'll see what happens there. We've mentioned the kicking game. There's lots of X factors all over the place. But again, this Washington team just finds a way. And how do you control Saquon Barkley? It's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough. But Washington has a solid defensive line, and you got Bobby Wagner in the middle. So Bobby Wagner's going to have to step up and make a bunch of plays, and Frankie Louvu is going to have to get after it too. And I think they will. I'm picking Washington. I've said it this entire postseason. They're the team of destiny, and I'm going to continue to roll with them.
And a surprise entrance from Coach. So
yeah,
what's up, man?
What's going on, buddy?
What up? What's up?
Sorry, back.
But
We missed you
so
last
I think
week.
so far in the room, we've got 3 Eagles picks and 3 Commanders picks, correct?
Yeah,
Yep.
I think Steve took me and Anthony took the spread for the Eagles.
I took
I'm sorry.
for the
For
Commanders.
the Commanders.
I meant to say us 3 took the spread for the Commanders.
Yeah.
I'm not going to count the spread for you guys just because you're taking money line Commanders.
Yeah.
But I have those.
That's what we're doing with our prediction standings is all based on money line. But
Yeah.
all right, so we're 3-3 is the main point I was going for. So, Coach, you get the opportunity to split the room.
All right.
What
Well,
says you? in the NFC
I
Championship?
think the Eagles win the game. I think Washington covers. There are definitely some concerns with the Eagles. Jalen Hurts is a concern. Obviously, he hasn't played great, but I think the concerning part is that they don't really trust him at this point either to stand in the pocket and throw. So they're going to have to lean on Saquon Barkley in order to win the game. But I do think Philly's front 4 is going to be a problem. I think they find a way to win it at the end, but it's going to be close the entire way. The Commanders have a chance. I just think Philly and their front on both sides is the difference in the end.
Well, there you go. All right, so we are majority Eagles in terms of the NFC Championship. I'll just say I won't be surprised if the Commanders win. I won't be shocked. But yeah, I don't know. I just took that running game, Saquon Barkley. I think that makes the world's difference. Just to follow up, Eric from the shower did send me a pic. He is literally in the shower. It is safe with you guys in the group chat. But yeah, it is safe for work, but I'll let you guys know. But yeah, so happy he's supporting the show. Any other final thoughts on this NFC Championship? If anybody has a bet they like, I haven't really dug into player props yet, so
Yeah, we usually, Steve, we'll come back on Friday and do,
you guys will do that?
picks and
Okay.
props, right? Like
Yeah.
we've been doing.
Yeah, of course. Yep.
All right.
Anybody else
Perfect.
that wants to come on too, come with us.
Yeah.
The more,
So
the merrier.
tune in on Friday for that. What's that?
I did want to add because Matt brought up the blitz, and Jaden has been really good against the blitz. The Eagles last time they played, they blitzed him. Let's see, Jaden Daniels was blitzed just 5 of his 11 dropbacks in their first meeting in Week 11, which was the lowest he faced in a game in his career. So we'll see. Maybe, I mean, I don't think Fangio is going to bring a ton. They don't have to bring a ton of guys to get pressure, likely.
Well,
But yeah,
I think that he doesn't get blitz. He does good against the blitz because they're so RPO heavy. And when you're an offense that's based around tons and tons of RPOs, then a blitz is dangerous because if they replace that RPO, they replace that blitz with the RPO slant or whatever it may be. It's a problem.
yeah, they get throw right behind it.
He's also got that virtual reality thing that he's got. So that's going to be interesting to see if more and more quarterbacks start doing that. I mean, I think that really probably helps him a ton. I mean, it's just like simulation over and over and over again. And he says he could pick the coverages that the defenses play and everything. So that's pretty incredible. That's something I think we'll see in the future. But I just want to go back to the game last week. The Lions, they ran for 200 yards. And, Goff passed for 300, but he had, 4 turnovers? So we'll see what the Eagles defense offense can move the ball. I think, it's going to be Saquon ran for 150 against them and like 130. So he's dominating both matchups. I just don't know if AJ Brown's where he needs to be. And I don't know if I could trust Jalen Hurts. So yeah, it's going to be a great game. Obviously a tall task for Washington to go into Philly. But yeah, I'm rooting for Washington in this one. Hopefully they get it done.
I don't know what the
Nothing we ain't
blitz rate is. I just wanted before we move on. I don't know what the blitz rate is for Dan Quinn, Washington's defense. But last week, Hurts most of his yards pre-injury. I think he ran the ball one time post-injury for negative yardage. Would not shock me if Dan Quinn sends pressure early to see if Jalen Hurts is mobile. Because if he's not mobile, I think it could be a long day. So I think that's the one thing that I'm going to be looking for early is see if Dan Quinn, hey, let's see if Jalen Hurts can run.
Speaking of Dan Quinn, Anthony, how much do you wish he was still with the Cowboys?
A lot.
Okay.
Especially with the state of that coaching search right now.
Sorry,
Brian
I had
Schottenheimer.
Looks like the Commanders blitz the third most on third down and the most on fourth down. So hopefully not bringing no cover zero like Notre Dame did on that last play.
Coach,
to end the
you got
game. But yeah, go ahead.
I saw you gesturing. Do you have something else, Coach, or no? Are you good?
I was just going to say, speaking of coaching searches, this guy is on cloud 9 right here.
Oh, yeah? All right. Well,
Ben Johnson, let's go.
I know. You got him. See what happens.
It's a bust.
Oh, here we go. with this now.
Probably, Matt. Probably.
All right. Let's get into our AFC Championship matchup. That one is the Buffalo Bills at the Kansas City Chiefs. That's at 6:30 on Sunday. KC is favored by 1.5. The over/under, much like the NFC Championship, at least if you were looking on DraftKings earlier in the day when I made that graphic, 47.5. Not sure how much that's changed. I'm going to give my pick here. I went into this saying my prediction for the playoffs was going to be the Eagles and the Chiefs was going to be my prediction when this whole thing started, us doing our playoff picks and all that fun stuff. Something rang true to me when I was looking at numbers prior to us going live. Turnovers. And a lot of you guys last week, when I had picked the Ravens, talked a lot about turnovers. And I didn't feel like buying in because I wanted to buy into more so Derrick Henry and the running game. I am buying into turnovers this week. And you look at some of these numbers, the Buffalo Bills, they did pick off Pat Mahomes twice this year. Out of his 11 picks, 2 of them did come against the Bills. You look at them and these turnovers scare me. And in 2 out of the 3 postseason games that Pat Mahomes actually lost, he's had multiple interceptions. I think this is an opportunity here for the Bills to edge out the Chiefs. Chiefs are mid to low in terms of takeaways on the year. The Bills are at the top, and both teams are low as far as giveaways, but the Bills are the lowest in giveaways. So I think in this kind of game, when you're talking about 2 quarterbacks as good as these two, you're looking at the turnover margin. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills to win this game. Would I be shocked if it's postseason Chiefs and it just happens? Just like Travis Kelce magically all of a sudden, just like the grandfather from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory during the regular season, he's laying in the bed, the playoffs start. All of a sudden, the golden ticket's there, and he's amazing. Could that happen again? And can we see the Chiefs just beat up the Bills? Sure, there's a world where that exists. Pat Mahomes is 3-0 against the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs, but in this particular matchup here this week, after a lot of soul searching, deep thinking, just like Pablo Escobar and Narcos standing around thinking, I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills here to win this game. So with that, I will actually go to let's go to Anthony first in this one. Anthony, what says you? AFC Championship. What do you got?
I'm going to keep picking Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes until somebody beats them in the playoffs. I'm going to obviously take them to cover and win this outright. You mentioned the turnovers. The last time Patrick Mahomes threw an interception was in that Buffalo Bills game. He has not turned the ball over since then. Been playing clean football. This is a healthy Kansas City team. Taylor Rapp, who had a pretty good game last week, he is not practicing. Doesn't mean he's ruled out, but I think that could be a significant loss for Buffalo's defense. I don't think this is going to be a huge swing either way. I think Vegas has it right with that point spread, but when it's all said and done, being what you said 3-0 against Buffalo in the postseason, that matters to me.
Yeah.
And obviously Buffalo 3-1 in the past 4 games against Kansas City straight up, but that one loss came last January. And you look, these are all these January wins for Mahomes over Buffalo. That's what I'm banking on.
Yeah, no, and that's honestly, that's why it took me as long to pick as it did. But yeah, I'm going to go Bills here, but yeah, but I can't argue with you much there, Anthony. What do we got here? Where's my, Steve, I'll kick this to you wherever you are, because our resident troll ATL said, does Josh Allen top his MVP numbers from last week? So I figured that'd be, probably one to serve up to you. Josh Allen throws for 127 yards, 16 of 22. Does have 2 rushing touchdowns, 10 rushes for 20 yards. A little bit of trolling there from our resident troll ATL. It's what he does best. But Steve, what says you on that? What says you on the game in general?
Yeah, and the Bills did get a little too conservative there at the end. I thought that almost cost them. But it's good to see, Mike, you wisened up, took the Bills. Anthony, I know he'll never pick Allen until he finally gets it done, which I respect. But let's 0-3. You guys are right. And Mahomes seems like whenever he plays the Bills in the playoffs, his numbers just like he just plays. I mean, Allen plays incredible, and Mahomes plays just as good. 75% completion rate, 306 yards per game, 8 touchdowns, no picks, 126.6 quarterback rating, 93 yards and a touchdown. Allen, 65% completion rate, 260 yards passing, 7 touchdowns, 1 pick, 98 rating, 228 rushing yards, and 2 rushing touchdowns in those 3 matchups that they had. I think the first matchup was back in 2020, 38-24 between these 2 teams. And then obviously we all remember the overtime game, 42-36. Allen goes down the field. They go up 13 seconds. Tyreek, Kelsey, they kick the field goal, put in the overtime. They get the touchdown first, and then they changed the rules the next year. And then last year they played in Buffalo this time. And you thought Buffalo was going to get it done. They drive down the field. Allen misses that throw. Chris Jones steps on his foot. The ball sails a little bit, and then they missed the field goal with Bass. But if you guys remember in that game, Buffalo was on like their 3rd linebacker, that guy AJ Klein, and they signed that guy basically off the street. He's out there trying to cover Kelsey. So no Christian Benford in that game, no Terrell Bernard, no Matt Milano. And last time in that game, Pacheco was running a lot better. He's banged up now. He has not looked the same. They did have Rashee Rice last year who really emerged. I mean, David Worthy has emerged down the stretch this year. Kind of like I expected, another rookie in Andy Reid's system slowly coming on towards the end of the year, but I still think Rashee Rice is a better player. And then they get Hopkins, but he's not really doing anything. He's barely running any routes. And Hollywood Brown, a little there, but Buffalo does have a history. They played against him in Baltimore, so they kind of know how to deal with him. So yeah, this is going to be an epic matchup. Can Allen finally get the monkey off his back? Finally get the win in the playoffs against Kansas City. And I think they get it done. I think Buffalo gets the win. I think Allen and Mahomes will probably both play turnover-free football. Maybe one of them turns it over once or twice. Like you said, Mike, Buffalo just leading the league, plus 24 in turnover differential.
Yeah, I believe 1.8 on a per game basis too.
Yeah, right. And I believe Pete brought that up when he was analyzing the game last week.
Right.
So yeah, that's huge. And we saw, Bernard knock that ball out of Mark Andrews. Yeah, Andrews. So that was a great play. Obviously the drop was tough, but I'm not going to shit on Andrews and Jackson. But anyway, I think Buffalo, their style has changed. Like they play like this bully ball, this controlled football, and they're kind of just, when Allen needs to do what he needs to do, then they could step it up. But I think they're going to try to run the football again, just like they've been doing all season long, ever since Brady took over. This team has changed into a running football team, a successful running football team. And I still think they'll be able to continue to get it going. They'll be able to make plays in the passing game. And I think they'll be able to slow down this Chiefs offense. They played a ton of close games. They really haven't looked like the Chiefs on offense. Even the last 2 years, this team has been carried by the defense mainly. And then I think the big factor too is Pacheco, really hasn't looked the same. I know Hunt's played well. Kelsey's older. Worthy's still a rookie. Hollywood Brown at the end. So yeah, give me the Bills to win outright and then go to the Super Bowl.
All right. There we go. We're going to move it on to Tyler. But Tyler, I did want to bring up one thing, and you can feel free to obviously give your prediction on the game. But our own Eric from the shower did say, with all the social media chirping about KC and the refs favoring them, do you guys think the refs are going to stop babying Mahomes to get some heat off them? So you can respond to that if you think that that's weighing on the NFL's mind, and then feel free to give us your pick.
I don't think they will change anything they do. I think the NFL obviously wants their players to stay healthy. That's how they make their revenue. If all your stars are out, you can't make as much money because people don't want to watch the games. That being said, I mean, they may withhold a call or two that may be a little bit questionable, but I think it will continue to be the same. So as far as the refs go, I do think it will still be a kind of loaded affair for the Chiefs there. For the game, though, I am going to go with the Bills. I had my original predictions were the Lions over the Chiefs, and I've already got one team out, so why not make them both be out at this point? I'm going to go for it. Last week, I was trying to be bold, like we said earlier. I kind of was backed into a corner, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to be bold. Didn't work out for me. My record's already done anyway, so why not? We're going to continue to be bold here. So I think this comes down to a defensive game. Like we've been saying, Buffalo, number one in turnover differential there. Mahomes hasn't looked the same all year. Whether that's been because of the injury to Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy coming on slow, all those things. He just hasn't looked the same. Now, he is still Mahomes. They still find a way to get it done typically. But I do think Buffalo is on a hot streak here. They did beat a tough team last week in the Ravens that I would have probably picked, honestly, to have beaten the Chiefs regardless, even though that was my original pick. So I think, they're going to ride a hot hand here coming in. I do think Josh Allen will finally get that proverbial monkey off of his back that Hoff was talking about. So give me the Bills here. Like I said, the Mahomes turnovers that we've seen all year that have been kind of out of character for him, I think that probably makes this game up. And I think the Bills will finally get one over on him here.
All right. Let's save Pete for last. Let's go Matt, Coach, then Pete. Pete, nope, Matt. I'm sorry, I fucked myself up there. Matt, what says you? As I say the names, it's almost like Pete trying to spell out an email. I can't say names.
I've heard he struggles with that. But
we need a video of Pete trying to send out the email. Some music behind it.
I need a personal
to upload.
Yeah, did you get it yet? All right.
For
Matt,
me,
go ahead, Matt. What do you think about this game?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Bills here. Looking at the season, Buffalo's the better offense. I mean, Tyler just mentioned Mahomes struggling. what's going to happen here playing in Kansas City. Definitely a tough place to play, but Buffalo scoring almost, or actually 8 points more than Kansas City exactly on average for the season. The defense for me is going to be the biggest question because Kansas City has the better defense. Buffalo's defense is not like it has been in these past matchups when these teams have met in the postseason. But that being said, Milano coming back, I think, is going to kind of bolster that a little bit. But the running game in Buffalo is where I keep going back to. I think when times get tough, Josh Allen finds a way to get the first down. He gets those tough yards. He grinds out the clock. And I think that's just a little bit too much for Kansas City to kind of hold back right now. This season for Kansas City has just been limping by the entire time, and Buffalo has looked strong. They flexed their muscles all season long, not afraid of anybody, and I think that's going to continue. Josh Allen, he's played very, very well this season. You know, Pro Football Focus grade has him at 92, Patrick Mahomes at 86. Who's got the better pass catchers? Well, both of these teams are kind of working with not really their best units that we've seen them have in the past, but I can't help but feel like the luck for Kansas City is going to run out. And I don't think it's going to be necessarily ref related, as it's going to be Buffalo's going to come in here and hit him in the mouth, to be honest. Like, I see a world where Buffalo kind of runs away with this after a little while.
Damn. All right. Running away with it. All right. A little spicy. I'll take it. Coach, what says you on this matchup here?
Well, I picked the Bills to win the Super Bowl, and I'm going to stick with the Bills here over the Chiefs. However, there is some concern. A couple things. One, the Bills are going to have to get someone besides Shakir involved in the passing game. That's going to have to expand a little bit this week because Steve Spagnuolo is so good on defense for the Chiefs. Like, he is fantastic. He's probably the most underrated defense coordinator in America. Every time the going gets tough, the Bills are running quarterback power with Josh Allen on third and short, fourth and short every time. Spagnuolo, I mean, of course, he's aware of all this. And, I mean, you'll see underfronts and all kinds of different things there to give him some trouble in that aspect. But at the same time, I just think the Bills have the ability to win the game by any means necessary. If it's a low-scoring affair, they can lean on James Cook and Josh Allen to run the football. Josh Allen could stand in the pocket and win it if he has to. I expect the game to be close just because I think the Chiefs, obviously with Mahomes and Andy Reid, the game will be close. I think this is the year the Bills find a way to do it.
All right. And really quick, before we go to Pete, I do have to just reference, this is a coach reference technically. Anthony, our resident troll ATL, he sends in good super chats and he sends in poor ones. And he says, Anthony, how would you like Hayden Fox as the Dallas Cowboys head coach? Which, Anthony, do you know who Hayden Fox is?
Of course I do. From Coach, the original coach.
The original coach, which is Coach's picture on my phone is my contact. So, but yeah.
Hey.
Right, so, there you go.
As
But
he
Anthony,
should be.
there you go. There you go. All right. Now that we got that bullshit out of the way, thank you for that, ATL. Pete, you are now up for your pick. Curious to see where you go here because I believe you were with me in initially picking KC and the Eagles. No, or am I incorrect? Did you pick the Bills?
No, I was Bills Eagles.
Okay.
This actually tees up perfect for Anthony because after my video that I played, Anthony now stands alone with the Kansas City Chiefs in this room, and a little possible redemption for him if Kansas City does pull out the win. Anthony will be the one man that picked him out of this entire group. So that's, just for a little foreshadowing for next week. But yeah,
Sure.
I mean, I think the problem is that when we look, sometimes, yes, like we have to consider that what the Chiefs have been able to do historically. But when you're looking at them in a vacuum this year and how these teams match up, Buffalo just is the better team. The biggest fear that I have is this Chiefs team blitzed at the 5th highest rate in the NFL this year, 35.6% of the time, and we're able to create a free rusher, generating a league high of 49 unblocked pressures on the blitz. Now, you might say, well, that's great, but The problem with that is this Buffalo Bills team passing versus the blitz are number 2 in the NFL. Okay, they're the second best team when it comes to passing against the blitz in the NFL. And if the Chiefs decide to maybe counteract that and say, yeah, maybe we'll switch it up and we won't blitz nearly as much, which is their identity. When it passing versus no blitz, the Chiefs are 28th in the NFL this year when they don't blitz against the pass, and Buffalo is number 4. So to me, that's a huge advantage there. And we've seen all along the teams that have won in the playoffs have been teams generally with a pretty dominant running game. Now, I'm not saying this Bills team has a dominant run game, but this offensive line for the Bills is just different, man. They are physical. We saw what they did to Baltimore last week. They moved him around, and something just seems off with Chris Jones. I know he had that calf injury a few weeks ago. I don't think he's 100% right now, and I know they got to the quarterback a ton last week, but I just don't see it happening like it did last week against the Texans. So that's my biggest concern, is just them not being able to get to the quarterback, and even if they do, Allen counteracting it because he's been just so good against the blitz this year. So that's my biggest concern. And if, Kansas City has done a good job of making people play their style of football. They want to play ball control. They want to grind you out. And I think Buffalo has the offense where, yes, they didn't light it up last week, but they have the offense where they could put some points up on you. And if Kansas City's playing from behind, we haven't seen this offense play from behind this year, and they haven't really put up a lot of points this year because they've been able to play ball control football with a good defense. But I worry that they're not going to be able to run the ball much. And this secondary is awesome. I know Anthony brought up Taylor Rapp might not play. He's day-to-day. But Rasul Douglas has been really good. Teron Johnson, their nickelback corner, really good. Christian Benford has a concussion. He's in the protocol. I think he's probably going to clear. The biggest liability is Damar Hamlin. If Damar Hamlin is playing a lot in this game, that is my biggest fear. I worry that Mahomes might take advantage of him because we saw a bad Bills wide receiver core take advantage of Hamlin a little bit last week when he was getting more snaps than he should. So that's my read on the game. I think the game goes under. Most of these games in Kansas City do go under. I think that's going to happen, and I'll take the Bills outright.
Anthony, you have any, since you're the only guy in the room, shockingly enough, picking the Chiefs, have any response to all this?
Mahomes hasn't turned the ball over since week 11, the last time he played Buffalo. If he continues to play clean football, I think that's the path to victory. If he turns the ball over, then Buffalo wins. But he's gone to 7 straight games now without a turnover. So that's going to be it. I think teams, I heard a stat today, are undefeated this year who win the turnover battle in the playoffs.
And I'm just looking at that turnover, like you're talking about, the whole turnover situation, and that's why I'm going Buffalo. That was ultimately my deciding factor. I think both quarterbacks are going to play well here. I think we should see that. I don't know how I feel about that under over, and I'm just kind of curious now. Under, over, I'll go around the room. I'll go Steve, Tyler, Pete. You said what? You said under?
Yeah.
All right. So I'll go Steve, Tyler, Coach, Matt. Anthony, did you give me an answer on that? The over under?
No, but I'll go under. I like both games to go under, which is weird for me because I hate unders, but I think both of these postseason games are going to go under.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling the under too. I feel like it's going to bite me in the ass. But Steve, go ahead. Tyler, and then Coach, and then Matt. Over under in this game. 47.5.
Yeah, I haven't really made my decisions. I don't really like either one in any of these games to go over under, but this game particularly, I mean, last time these two teams played 30-21, so that went over. And then last year in the playoffs, 27-24. Again, the Bills defense, I named all the guys they were missing. So, Von Miller, Benford, Milano, Bernard, Benford, I already said Benford, but now they got all those guys back. But yeah, I mean, even the Ravens, put up some points against them last week too, especially towards the end. They were torching them up. So I mean, I could easily see with these two quarterbacks just elevating their play. I just gave you the numbers, with these guys. I mean, Mahomes' completion percentage is 75%. Allen's is 65%. Mahomes 306. Allen 267. 8-0, 7-1. So yeah, definitely could see it going over. I wouldn't want to take the under. I don't feel safe about taking the under.
I wouldn't bet it. I think it, but I wouldn't bet it.
I think I would lean the over. Again, what you could do is if you want to do a teaser, you could take Buffalo or the Chiefs and then just, buy down the over under if you want down to 41.5. I think you should at least go over that. But yeah, it could be a physical game. Could definitely be like a field goal game. Maybe both of these teams keep each other in the red zone. But again, the Buffalo, when they get into the red zone with Allen in that running game, just seems like they're automatic. And then you got Reed on the other side with all his freaking dynamic play calling and Mahomes and Kelsey and, Worthy. So, both of these teams, I believe, executed very well in the red zone last time. So I think Chiefs were like 3 for 3 and Bills were like 3 for 4. So yeah, it's tough for me to take the under, and the weather looks to be pretty good. I think it's gonna be like 35 degrees and sunny. I don't see any precipitation.
Tyler, what do you got? Over or under in that game?
I'll take the over on that one.
Okay.
Like you said, the last few games, they've been in the 20s, both teams. I think if it stays close, I think you'll end up with the same score, somewhere in that range. So I'll take the over. And, if we get a shootout, great. If it's a low-scoring defensive game, I still think you can get there either way.
Before I go to Coach, I will just say I'm getting texts from Eric in the shower, and he said, I don't like Matt or Tyler. Poor opinions, ugly shirts. I asked, does it have to do with the Commanders? And he said, yes, that's the sole reason I don't like them. Probably great guys, but first impressions are everything. You guys are great guys, but those are first impressions, and he does not approve.
I didn't. He didn't say anything I disagree with. So
well, there you go. All right.
Especially the shirts. Especially
the shirts. There you go.
Mine's not even a Commander shirt.
It does. You're just guilty by association at this point. That's all that matters.
What I do.
Coach, what says you over under? And actually, you can comment on that comment too.
The sweatshirt I got on is kind of his Commanders too. I mean, the color is blue, red.
Oh, he's gonna find a reason to hate that now.
Yeah, straight out the shower.
I'm going under. But I think might have been Steve said that. I wouldn't bet it. Like I wouldn't bet that. I don't feel good.
Yeah, I'm not betting it.
Like for me to touch one of those, it's like I got to feel good about it. I don't feel good about that.
Yeah.
I'm going under. I think like 24-21. That's what's in my head. So that's where I'm going.
Yeah.
All right, Matt.
First of all, my shirt's beautiful. I might just wear one every single stream from here on out. So.
Wow. All right.
But as far as it goes with this game, I'm going to take the over. I mean, I'm kind of with you guys. I don't really play that too often. But, Steve, you mentioned it. The weather, it looks like it's going to be a clear night, 31 degrees, chilly, not too much wind. Shout out Big Dan. He gave us a weather report for these conference championship games. So I think it's going to be a nice night for some football. But give me Buffalo, and I really think they're going to lay the hammer this week, boys.
All right. Well, there you go. So almost all of us are picking the Buffalo Bills. Only one of us is picking the Chiefs. Let me see. Eric from the shower is not commenting as well. Saying Steve is cut from my fandom as well now. See, Steve, I told you that would happen. Sorry, Steve, you did to yourself by announcing that your shirt is Commanders related or colors. Drive with it. Anyway,
I'll send him some soap.
This asshole doing on my screen. Anthony, what are you flashing Colin Coward on my screen for?
I didn't flash anything.
Pete, was that you? You dumb prick. Oh God!
I was saving the Arthur Smith one to say that they would be the Cowboys head coach.
Oh yeah, that would be great. Oh, imagine Arthur Smith as the Cowboys.
I actually like Arthur Smith better than fucking Brian Schottenheimer.
Schottenheimer. It's a done deal to Schottenheimer anyway.
I'd be tap dancing if it was Arthur Smith. Holy shit. Yeah, if Matt keeps talking, I'm going to unsubscribe and go watch Mr. Beast instead. Oof,
listen, Eric, man, we're going to have a chat. Me and you, one-on-one. I know it's really tough. You're going to say that last loss against
You're making it worse. You're making it worse.
Got hurt.
He's not going to say any of that. Do you want to know what he's going to say? He's going to say, fuck you. That's all he's going to say.
You're making it worse.
That's fine.
I know him. Does anybody have anything else about these games we want to put out there? Anything we like? Anything? Any trash talk? Anything?
I do want to say
9-1. You want
No,
to
I-
be braggadocious like a douche? What do you want to do?
yeah, I'm not gonna say that, but
Okay.
I thought
I
it was
mean,
weird.
you are.
I thought about this mate when I was making the thumbnail today because I was adding Travis Kelce to it, and I know he's had a down year, but he has been really quiet too. I don't know. That just popped in my head. Like I don't know why it did. Not that it matters at all, but I just something random. Like and maybe it's just me, but like maybe it's because last year with Taylor Swift and there was so much going on, so much attention. Like maybe he's trying to just like keep attention off of him. But I feel like he's just not. He's not like I don't know. I maybe just because their offense and he hasn't done a lot to celebrate about on the field this year. So maybe, but it just feels more quiet. Usually he talks a lot of shit.
Yeah.
I do like the over on his receiving yards. I believe it's 69.5. I do like the over on that. I forget where the catches are. It might be 6.5 or something along those lines, but I do like the receiving yards this week. Matt, you were going to say something?
Yeah, Pete, I think your quiet year is just Kansas City in general. I mean, you mentioned Chris Jones only having 5 sacks on the season, but he still is the leader in rush wins and pressures as defensive tackles. So
I didn't even mean on this I think he's hurt, right? Like I think he's hurt, Chris Jones, because he had that calf injury, like, and he didn't play the last game of the year and he hurt it the week before. That was what I was saying. But he did have a great year, Chris Jones, to be honest with you. He did have a good year. But yeah, I don't know. They're just taking care of business quietly, I guess. I
just don't. Aside from rooting for the Bills and hopefully they get over the hump, I don't want to see the Chiefs in the Super Bowl with Taylor Swift again and then win another Super Bowl. Of course, I'll respect the shit out of them if they win another Super Bowl. But it's just like I remember when Brady just couldn't stop winning and I just got so tired of it at the end. So, yeah, I don't want that. I don't want to see that happen. But, yeah, of course, I respect the greatness in the history of the game. But, Buffalo last year – with the drops and then, the 13-second game. If they lose this game, it's going to be a tough one to swallow, just like the Ravens losing last week. It's going to be very, very tough to swallow.
After last year with the Chiefs winning, I just kind of mentally accepted like this is just what they're going to do. Like this is them.
It's quite possible.
That's why I picked them. That's why I picked them before the playoffs started to go to the Super Bowl. But
I just think all their deficiencies. They're 22-2 straight up in their last 24 games, and this is not a good football team. I think we can all admit that they're not like a 22-2 team, but they are.
That was my point. That was my point mainly with the Eagles. Like, very similar. Like, they control the ball. They have good defenses, and yeah.
I mean, the coach was saying the Philly's going to win because their D line, and their D line's ridiculous, for sure. And even their O line, of course, too. And then you got Saquon on top of that. But the Chiefs, like, look how many games they just barely won against your Broncos, Pete. Like, so many miracle wins and. So they and it's the Raiders in 1970, but they did that a little bit last year too. But I do think Buffalo is even better this year, and I did think the Ravens were a lot better this year too. That's why I said whoever won that game last week, I thought would win the Super Bowl. So and beat the Chiefs. So I just think the Chiefs are a little bit lesser. I think we've all kind of seen it, but it's Mahomes, it's Reed. They expect to win every single game. Spagnuolo's been there since 2019 as well. They expect to win every time they go on their home. So, I mean, this is a very close matchup, but, hopefully Matt's right and Buffalo, opens this up a little bit at the end.
Look, right. To close out, we all know the Chiefs are going to win. Anthony's going to get his time at the podium here next week on the show. He better be come ready to speak on it if they win. And if they lose, we'll all be doing happy dances and telling Anthony where he can shove his Josh Allen elite talk up his ass.
61% of people are on the Bills, so most people are picking the Bills. A lot of them are picking because they're tired of the Chiefs winning.
That makes me feel worse.
What happens to the
I don't like that.
Talk if he gets to the Super Bowl and Jayden Daniels beats him?
We'll tackle that. We'll tackle that when we get there.
Matt's ready to talk about that shit.
Gross. Ready. Going to give Matt a heart attack.
Yeah, no, Matt's
Eric
like
will
fucking
not
Ron
be in the
Burgundy
stream.
there.
I will be
It would
insufferable.
be a rematch of what, Super Bowl in 1990, 91?
Yeah,
Right?
Mark
Bills-
Rippon.
Bills-
Matt
yeah,
doesn't
Bills
know.
are
He wasn't
ripping.
alive.
Yeah,
I
Brett
wasn't
Rippon,
alive,
yeah.
but what I do know is the NFC East beat the Bills 4 years in a row.
Yes.
That's
There you
right.
go.
Cowboys twice, Redskins, and who was the other team?
Giants.
Giants.
That
How
was the
do I forget? That was a
Giants.
fucking. That's what I became a Giants fan. I like the Giants.
Wide right.
Yeah.
Scott Norwood.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. Wide right.
That was how it started off. Yeah.
Showing our age. Best of times.
Otis Anderson.
All right.
That was the
So we-
closest one. They got smacked in every single one after that.
So we got what? We got 4 of us picking the Eagles, 3 of us picking the Commanders. There's the daily showing of that for whatever reason. 6 of us picking the Bills, 1 of us picking the Chiefs. Ralph says the Chiefs. Thanks, Ralph. Appreciate that. Are we ready to sign off? I guess that's it, right? We've covered all the games. All 2 of them.
All 2 of
right?
them.
All right, there you go.
All 2 of them.
All right. Well, someone can hit the outro at some point because I don't fucking feel like doing it. So it's up to Pete or Anthony. But until next time, stay thirsty, be kind to one another. We'll catch you guys on the flip side.